Tom Vakar has covered two incidents involving ship collisions with the Bay Bridge. And Tom joins us now live from Treasure Island after speaking with some of the world's top experts today about the safety measures in place on San Francisco Bay. Tom?
Well, the fact is we do have a lot of protections to our bridges here. That is a fact. But one of the problems with all of it is that those systems were designed a long time ago, and the ships ever since have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, especially in the last 10 years, on the seas, in the shipping lanes, and even in the ports. In 2013, the 751-foot-long Overseas Raymar empty oil tanker glanced off the fender bumpers of one of the Bay Bridge's western span towers. In 2007, the 902-foot-long Costco Busan, a container ship, also glanced off as well. The hard but glancing blows to the fender bumper systems at the tower bases kept the ships from damaging the bridge towers. Bart Ney speaks for Caltrans, the owner and caretaker of the bridge.
All of our bridge columns are surrounded by extremely robust protection systems that absorb the energy of the ship before it actually can touch the bridge. Our fenders actually do more damage to the ship than the ship has done to the bridge in the past.
But unlike Baltimore, neither Bay collision was a direct hit to a tower. Retired UC Berkeley engineering professor and now consultant Robert B. has built many bridges and consulted on damaged ones worldwide. B. does not agree with Caltrans.
Our Bay bridges would be in the same trouble.
What kind of speed are we talking about, do you think?
10 knots.
Now, in the case of this other one, it was going between 7 and 8 knots. Would that still result in serious damage to the bridge?
Yes, definitely. Either failure or near failure.
Caltrans adds that the Bay bridges are stronger so they can resist earthquakes.
The seismic systems would always also dampen some of the impact.
Peter Yanov is an internationally renowned earthquake engineer.
The earthquake loads are very different. They cause the structure to be beefier overall. Now, if you hit it with something too big, obviously anything will fall down.
Ships like the Costco Busan are older, smaller, and far lighter than today's behemoths that carry more than 4 times as many containers. Yanov says we should rethink protecting the Bay bridges due to this huge change.
What has changed to change our protection?
Now, the Golden Gate Bridge District writes, the Golden Gate Bridge has perhaps the most robust ship collision protection of any bridge on the West Coast. Of course, one tower is on land, the other is surrounded by a massive concrete ring that is full of sand and is deeper than any ship bottom. But could it happen here? Well, considering these massive ships, it's a real possibility. Back to you.
All right, Tom, the question is everyone wanting to know how something like this could happen. The ship in Baltimore reportedly lost power. You talk with the experts today. This investigation just beginning. What do you think are some of the first things investigators will start to look at?
Well, without a question, the first thing they're going to look at is what happened with the engine itself and what the crew did to react to that. You got to remember, first of all, if they didn't have power, this boat is going about 8 miles an hour. That's how much 7 knots is. So it's going 8 miles an hour, and it probably weighs 100,000 to 200,000 tons. So it's got a lot of momentum. You just can't turn it on a dime. These ships do have what are called bow thrusters. They're like big fans that can blow the ship either to the left or to the right. But the forward motion continues a bit even as you're doing that. So when it happened so close to the bridge, it was a fait accompli that this disaster was going to happen, whether it was a head-on or a broadside.
So there could be the chance it's both mechanical and human error here in this case, Tom?
In almost every case, these things are a series of things that happened over a long period of time, and they all culminate in some sort of a final action. The final action here apparently was the loss of power to the ship. Now, if that's a maintenance problem, if that's a defective part, if it was a manufacturing problem, it could be any of those things. Plus, there could have been some human error involved in not closely monitoring the system to say, this engine is not acting the way it should be done. All of those things the National Transportation Safety Board will look into, And you can bet about a year from now they're going to have a full description of exactly what happened.
Yeah, just a colossal failure on so many levels. Tom Bakar reporting live for us tonight. Tom, thank you.
And our coverage of the bridge collapse will continue throughout the newscast coming up tonight at 5:30. We're going to have a live report from Baltimore on the effect of this accident and that city's long road to recovery.